Hello, nonprofit leaders. I'm Sarah Olivieri, your host, and this podcast is here to assist people like you, executive directors, board members, and other nonprofit leaders make a bigger impact with insights, tips, and lessons learned from nonprofit leaders and experts. Having been an executive director, a board member, and now a consultant and coach, I truly understand the challenges you face. And that's why I'm here. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, so you can make a bigger impact without the burnout. And so is our sponsor, DonorBox. DonorBox isn't just a suite of helpful fundraising tools, it's a partner that helps you raise more money and supports you in retaining your donors. I love their forward-thinking approach. Visit donorbox.org to learn more. And don't forget to sign up for the Inspired Nonprofit Leadership newsletter, where you'll get bite-sized, actionable tips just for nonprofit leaders like you, delivered weekly to your inbox. Sign up at inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, nonprofit leaders. So today I want to ask you, have you ever felt frustrated with meetings? Are they too long? Are they unfocused? Could they have been an email? Do you feel like you waste a lot of time in meetings? If so, today I'm going to show you how to keep your meetings on track, ensure clear outcomes, and make sure that you are using meetings for the right things that move your organization forward, and have meetings that respect everybody's time and that people love. All right, let's talk about a couple things here. First of all, when you set a meeting, I recommend that everybody have at least one standing weekly staff meeting. If you're larger, you can have a weekly meeting kind of within departments or cross-functional teams, however you've organized, so that you can have some smaller group meetings as well. They should be as short as possible to get the work done. And you should be very dedicated to keeping the time of the standing meeting. What do I say? Honor the time, right? So if it is a 30-minute meeting, always stop at 30 minutes. If it is a 1 hour meeting, always stop at 1 hour. If it is a 15-minute weekly meeting or daily meeting, always stop at 15 minutes. This is huge so that people can come and count on their time being respected. So, I realize before I go into the rest of the tips, I want to talk about why we should have meetings and why meetings are still important. Meetings are important when we use them to bring minds together to identify problems or solutions that need a group of minds giving input, giving the full picture, and making the best kind of decision around what type of solution needs to be implemented to either fix an existing problem or create some new good thing out there in the world. So, meetings should then be mostly full of dialogue, people having a conversation, not announcements, right? Meetings don't need to be for announcements. So, I'm going to give you really quickly a basic standing meeting agenda. So, having an agenda for a meeting is really powerful, but creating agendas can be time consuming, and creating agendas there can be politics involved. I'll just say that, as to who gets to put what on the agenda and in what order. So we can eliminate that by using a standing agenda, meaning you use the same agenda every time. And this is how we do that. In the impact method, we call this an issues meeting. This originally, I learned about this kind of format of meeting from something called EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. They have a meeting called a level 10 meeting. And they called it that because meaning it should always be like a 10 out of 10 on your rating scale. So here's the overall agenda for your standing meeting, and you can replace your staff meetings and even your board meetings basically with this same agenda. So, first thing in your standing agenda for your meetings is a quick activity that brings everybody into the room. It can be a check in activity, like share a high and a low from your week, or it can be a physical activity where you partner up, or if you're on Zoom, you can kind of like mirror image each other's actions, something like that. You can look these up. Improv things are great for learning a quick bring people into the room activity and get them off their phones and their computers and engaged in the moment. Agenda item number 2 is headlines. These can sound like announcements, but only announcements that are truly newsworthy. So, not like everybody remember to sign the permission slip or the new HR form, not a headline. We just got a $200,000 unrestricted donation. That's a headline. A headline could also be bad news or things that people are really worried about, a situation that's evolving that could be really bad. Like the state just put in a new regulation that may affect how we deliver our programming. Or you could have a headline about how your clients are doing, either a win or a frustration, right? These are all great headlines. Pro tip for those funders in the room, fundraisers in the room, development directors and such, you can use headlines to fill a weekly email to your supporter base. Okay, so after headlines, you want to check for any issues that people are experiencing with their work. And and you're going to put those issues on a running issues list. You can keep it in a Word doc or a Google doc or on a whiteboard. We use a tool called ZenKit where we have a whole structure for these meetings with my clients where we keep an issues list in there. But basically, you're just going to keep a list of issues. It's going to be the same document or whatever you're using from meeting to meeting. While you're listening to your headlines as well, you can add any issues that appear then. So you're going to fill up with any issues on that issues list, any new issues that need to be added. And you could take a quick moment if you've been doing this regularly to delete any issues that are no longer relevant, but don't spend a lot of time doing that. Do not discuss the issues, just share enough information to list the issues. Okay, so after you have a list of the issues as a group, you're going to pick the most high priority, important one. Try to go for a quick consensus or a sense of the room, what people are leaning towards. If it's not coming readily, the executive director or anybody who is really in a relevant overseeing position, like an operations director too, could just make the decision and say, okay, this is going to be the highest priority one for today. All issues will get addressed in priority order, and all issues get to be on the list so nobody's getting forgotten. Okay, step 3, you take that highest priority issue and first you discuss it to fully understand the issue. Everybody and anybody can chime in. Even if it's not related to their department, they may have an opinion or an insight about why this issue is an issue. An activity I like to teach folks is the 5 whys. Why is this an issue? And then you answer that question. And then you ask of the answer, why is that an issue? Right? So go deep until you really reach the core of the issue. Now you can discuss what the solution will be. You don't have to design the whole solution. You just have to, as a group, come up with a solution that everybody thinks is a good idea. And then you assign implementing that solution to somebody in the group. They're going to be in charge of implementing the group, or they can volunteer, right? To be the person in charge of implementing the solution and roughly when the solution should be implemented by. Okay, so that assignment of creating the solution goes on to a running to-do list, right? So you're going to have 2 running lists, an issues list and a to-do list. Okay, so now if you still have plenty of time in your meeting, you can pick another issue to move on to. But if you are now at the end of your time, you need to wrap up the meeting. And I'll tell you a quick few steps on how to wrap it up. If you're still in the middle of one issue and the length that you've set your meeting, let's say it's an hour, runs out, you need to stop the meeting. You can give everybody the choice of continuing if they want to. Otherwise, you will pick up understanding and identifying the issue and identifying the solution at the next meeting. And it will still probably be the highest priority issue. Okay, how do we wrap this meeting up? Review the to-do list so that everybody knows what things are assigned to them and have acknowledged that they're ready to take that on. And the very last step is to rate the meeting. You can use a scale of 1 to 10. You can use a scale of 1 to 4, which I like, or I like to do an even number so that there is intentionally no middle, because people tend to like to be safe in the middle. But I can tell you, I usually do a scale of 1 to 4. And when I introduce this to clients and they do it with their teams again and again, they're getting 4s out of the park right off the bat because people love how effective this meeting is. So that is how to have a standing agenda that will effectively address your highest priority issues. Now, a few points about this. One is, when you first start getting going, you may find that your issues list is really long, and that's okay. And here's what happens. When you address issues in priority order, you will find that some of those other things on your issues list were really symptoms of one of those higher priority issues on that list. And so when you solve the higher priority issue, you will find as you start to come back that things that were on your issues list have just resolved because you addressed the core issue, and that your list will get shorter and shorter and shorter until some big change happens, either in your organization or in the world. Another thing that's really important about having effective meetings and using this type of meeting agenda is to create a culture that is focused on understanding that we're going to address things in priority order, and that it is okay to kind of call each other out to say, hey, or call ourselves out. We're starting to discuss this issue, but it's not the issue we should be focused on right now. It's not the highest priority issue. So, kind of silence ourselves or just say, hey, let's hold on to the discussion till we're actually discussing that issue. So having a culture where everybody feels empowered and comfortable to keep the group focused and to keep themselves focused and to hold all of ourselves and each other as a team accountable. And that's part of a larger culture that we can build in our organizations, where we know that at the end of the day, all of our jobs is to move the mission forward. And it's not just to complete a specific task on our job list, and that we all need to participate in doing that. That is all I have time for today. There's certainly lots more we could go into. If you would like to learn the full issues meeting and the full system that I teach organizations, that's what we do in the Thrive program. And you can learn more about that and have a conversation with me by going to pivotground.com/application. Tell me a little bit about your organization, and I'll set up a time for us to chat and talk about your situation and what might be right for you. If you'd like more tips like these in your inbox, you can go to inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up, and you will get tips and announcements about upcoming trainings and such in your email. Until next time, it is such a pleasure to be with you here. I will see you then, and I wish you all the best.
You've been listening to Inspired Nonprofit Leadership. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode or the bonus episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share with your friends and colleagues. Tune in every week for more useful insights and wisdom on nonprofit leadership. Thanks so much for all you do for the communities you serve. Until next time, all the best.